Okay, fourth category, housing expansion. That's a big one. Anyways, I'm just adding everything as I'm going along. those scripts. Anyways, uh, I took a stats from a called HATE. Oh, sorry, HATF, Housing Affordability Task Force. And last year they made a target. They want to have 1.5 billion houses by 2031. Is it doable? Is it real? I've talked to former construction workers. They laugh about the whole idea. That new housing project. We don't have 185,000 units by 2031. That's good. That's fine. But rezoning is a big thing, which they should have done a long time ago. They said 70% rezoning, unused land build up, which we're working on right now. This is great. I think it should be done a long time ago. But anyways, the rent control. My thing is 20% reduction in rent for 3 years. They say it's not doable. It's a province, but you know what? You got to try, right? If you don't ask, you don't plead, and present your case about people getting kicked out because they can't afford rent rent increases. Right now, there's no cap on rent control. That should have been done and handled city hall before even the code was over. So just think if you get 20% rent reduction for 3 years, a lock in 3 years, and that's for housing, apartments, retail condos, ODSP, special needs, low income families. You reduce that rent, you can save money through the years, right? And that can put to education, get a better place, afford things, more leisure, right? So that's a big thing. 20% reduction. It's all for the people. It's all about the people, right? No fancy deals or making profit off people's loss. You can't make money off people's loss. When you're making big condo deals and these advocates of development, they want to like get a what are the kickbacks. I don't believe in that. I never have. You know, Bring money in the city and not take people out, right? So homelessness, that's a big thing. We talk about that. Housing, the definition of housing is everybody, not just promises of affordable housing for low-income families, struggling. Housing includes it's a roof over everybody's heads. So all these nice plans are being worked out. There's not one mention of what you're doing with the people on the streets right now. Last year we debated it with a whole bunch of us, and you said there's 1.5, 1.3, 1.5 million houses in Toronto sitting alone, empty. Apartments around here in my ward, I counted like my ward and three other wards, counted 85 empty apartments. The one across from me sat there for 9 months, empty. I talked to landlords, property managers, and they said they would work with the government, take up the units. They just wanted to fill and get money off it, right? Some of the houses. They said $300 million were wasted in shelters. 300 million shelters the last 10 years, right? That's just crazy. You take that $300 million and bought some of those houses, quite a few of them with that kind of money, and apartments. You could take people off the streets and put them there. The main goal was get out of the cold, put them in there. There's plenty of other options. These are just a few ideas for homelessness, right? And work with homelessness. Set up programs. We have a few set up, but unfortunately they only go so far and then they're done. They're left on their own. Some people like doing their own thing. Some people need help. And you ask them. You never demand. You never force yourself upon them. You ask for assistance to be there for them. Have an open ear because everybody's different. One day you can have somebody feeling low and high, but you got to work with that. You can't just say these are the rules. You go by these rules. If you don't get it, you're out. That's not good. No. So I put down homelessness. I put down buy empty houses, fill empty apartments, rebuild the TCH buildings. That's another thing that just irks me so much. The neglect. Since 2013, auditors been getting reports, and I've seen it myself of these dilapidated structures falling apart, and you've seen the results. People getting kicked out for falling roofs, you know, bad paint structure. You know, you got to fix within before you build out, and that's the thing about housing. Nice to promote housing and building new things and condos and low income families and all that, but you know what? Fix within. That's important. You know, so what? You're gonna build new housing in another 10 years? They neglect those and continue on? No, 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 no. You got to build within. Landlords, my next category, landlord accountability. And I said this right now, if elected, I'm coming after you deadbeat landlords, the way you treat people. And I've seen it so many times. I give you so many examples, and some are just disgusting. I gave a few during debates last year, but they should all be increased. I talked to bylaw officers in 301. They all say the same thing. Increase the fines, make them more accountable, give them more power to get that done. For example, if you don't get something fixed by a landlord, charge them, not just $200, increase that to 300, 500. landlords. If landlords are not on the job, on the site when an emergency situation arises, charge them $1,000. So example, we had a tenant association meeting here for a possible association in my building not too long ago. And the question was asked by Jeff, how many people are having problems with their apartment? There were 60 people there. Everybody put up their hands. So you say that. Say $500 for each person that's not getting their thing done. Like some people had 7 years waiting for a roof, coverage, shelves, just silly little things that could have been fixed. You know, charge them. So $500 for 60 people. You know, you want to make money for for the city. Raise the fees on these landlords. I'm guaranteed you'll get a couple million come back to the city right there alone. So make them accountable. Also have especially like 24-hour emergency service, like pipes busting. I talked to a guy down near townhouse not too long in a video. He had to wait 3 months before he get the proper fixing. They fixed it 3 times, couldn't get it right. He lost some money. He lost some items, unfortunately. Also bungalow. I've seen in the States they have these bungalow apartments, especially for people with special needs. You know, and also when you gonna do affordable housing, you got to cater to each person. Like I worked with maybe last 5 years, about 25 people. They had a house or apartment ready for them, and they didn't take account that they have special needs, or some are wheelchair bound, some have other issues to deal with. So they had to go back, redo the whole apartment to their needs, like for kitchen wise, for like reaching and availability. So if they had taken account each person is different and unique, then they would have to be wasting so much money, and then that person would have to wait a little longer, right? So what else I got there? Condos take 3 to 5 years. We talk about rezoning. They're rezoning for 4-level houses, and they want to build on top of old structures. And that I'm kind of wondering about, because if you build on old with new, the foundation, you kind of wonder what's going on with that. So anyways, these are just suggestions. I have a ratio I came up with years ago when in the forest we have a thing called the 2-3 ratio. So every 3 feet of green for 2 feet of concrete. Like downtown, if you walk Lakeshore, it's all concrete there. I mean, they got a few water fountains and all, but more greenery, especially for green economy. Let's see. Speed up approval times. Eliminate the red tape, big time. Reduce development fees, and take the politics out of planning. Take the politics basically out of planning. You know, that's the problem. Too much politics in city development and city, availability. Take the politics out. So unfortunately, it's part of it. It's all about money and who makes the most, and where non-profit housing. Who wants to invest in debt? Because there's no money for developers in that. They're not going to make any money. That's why they don't want it. But it's been done before. I've seen in small towns. I've talked to a few people about non-profit housing. Put the money back into the community. Educate people, help people out, and those people can actually put their services back into the community when they graduate. Like say for a doctor, has a hard time, help them out, and he's trying to be a doctor, low-income family, right? And then he agrees. His way of giving back is the community, free service or doing something else. It's all part of community giving. We got to get back to that community sharing, which has become so restricted because of these politics. So that's I think I don't.